Howdy, folks. Thanks for tuning in for another Cruise with Smooth. Hope y'all doing okay today. Before I get into it, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So, something that happened yesterday. I posted literally just a funny meme on Facebook, which apparently you can't do anymore if it remotely touches on politics. Because nothing is funny but what's not funny. So the meme said something like, it was something about, my health and safety is important to me, so I'm not going to go to a vaccination center. They can just mail it to me, and I'll mail them the empty vaccine back as proof that I injected myself with the coronavirus vaccine, because there's been whispers, I don't know if there's any validity to it, about a stimulus payout being attached to whether or not you're vaccinated. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I'm just saying what I've heard. I don't see that would fly. But whatever. Well, anyway, I posted on Facebook just to, ha ha ha. People can laugh at stuff, Not everything needs to be taken with 100% seriousness. This is great. It's a meme. Memes are funny. That's why I posted it on Facebook. And apparently, that was the wrong thing to post. Because anyone that approaches it objectively will definitely understand that there was some fraud, and that there was definitely the potential for fraud with mail-in ballots. I'm not saying that it happened in the amount of votes necessary to swing the election one way or another. I'm not saying that either candidate was sitting in their mountainside lair overlooking the world, plotting their evil and fiendish plot to win the 2020 election. No, I don't think that's what happened. But the way I look at it is, I don't trust people, to be honest. I don't think that the majority of people have the best of intentions if you take the rails out of a thing. As an example, I lock my doors at night and I live in the middle of nowhere. Now, since I've been out in the middle of nowhere, I've never been broken into. The only time I've ever had someone come down the driveway that didn't need to be there, they turned around at the top of the driveway and they seen the dogs. So, worked out good. But, I still lock my doors at night. I lock my doors when I leave. So, I think that putting bumpers over the gutters, so to speak, to use a bowling reference, just kind of keeps things bouncing in that general direction towards decency, I guess, or good. And the more you take the bumpers out, the less likely it is that people will stay heading in that same general direction in the decency and what you want, what you should do. A lock keeps an honest man honest, a thief will break the lock. Well, guess what? If a thing's unlocked, an honest man might go in and take a look at something, might walk out with it, might not. A thief breaks the lock. But I kept all the honest men honest by locking it. That's kind of the way I look at it. I might be wrong, but that's the way I look at it. So anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So I posted that meme on Facebook just to be funny, and it exploded with comments back and forth. I've got, basically, there were two buddies that we'll say are left of center based on my observations. I may be slightly wrong. And then there are two buddies that are right of center based on what I've seen. I could be wrong. And this meme went 50, 60 comments deep with 4 people. 5 if you count me. And I posted it just to be funny and to get a couple chuckles and whatnot. And some people, oh yeah, that's funny, that's good. And then it exploded in that. And I'm just like, look, y'all are taking this way too seriously. And one guy, he's like posting 4 comments at a time, paragraphs long each, citing articles. And I'm like, well, I can cite articles too that kind of say the opposite thing of what you're saying in other states and blah, blah, blah. And finally, I just put up a popcorn, like someone munching popcorn. And I'm just, y'all go to town, I'm out. And the thing is, like, on the mail-in ballot and the 2020 election being stolen, I will say with 100% certainty, I don't know. But I know that there have been a ton of sworn affidavits where people are looking at purging themselves, fines and jail time for signing these sworn affidavits. I do know that there's video evidence and numerous reports from election workers and poll watchers where things didn't go as they should have. I'll just say it that way. I do know that there were false reports in one place where votes were being counted somewhere in Georgia where the building was supposed to have been evacuated due to a water main or a sprinkler leak or something like that, and that didn't happen, and votes kept being counted out of totes that were brought in. So and I'm not saying that there's anything there, but if you want a clean looking election, you did the exact opposite of what you should have done. In Michigan, they were putting poster board or whatever up over the glass walls into the building to hide what they were doing because there were people outside watching the polls because the poll watchers weren't being allowed in. I don't know that they did anything crooked. I'm not saying that they did anything crooked. It's 100% possible that they did nothing crooked. But they definitely gave an image of looking like they were doing something crooked. I hope they weren't. I hope that whoever decided that was a thing to do because they had the biggest brain fart in the history of mankind and everything is 100% on the up and up. However, I think that all these affidavits should be investigated, and some of them need to end up in front of a judge and not just being thrown out. And a lot of them are being thrown out. So it's really irritating. The thing is, if I were Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or anyone on his team, I would be putting pressure on the judges to make sure that some of these investigations go forward and that some of these things end up in front of a judge where it's adjudicated and not just thrown out of court. Because if I win, I want it to look like I won 100% honestly. If I lose, because I leaned on judges in these areas or requested favors or whatever, I'm the honest guy. And guess what? If that were to happen and Joe Biden loses and Trump wins, guess what? They're both honest guys out of all that mess. So I don't understand why everybody's all up in arms about this, just clinging to their party side. At this point in the election, Republicans picked up some seats in the House. It's probable that they will hold a 52-48 majority in the Senate. So if Biden wins, anything that he does that I really don't like is either not going to be, like sweeping huge changes that have gone through both houses, or it's either not going to be that, so it's going to be like, maybe a minor tax change here or there, which you can argue that back and forth. I'm not going to get into it. Or he's going to have to pull the Obama and Bush thing and just by executive order, here's a thing I've done. And I don't think that would fly. So, and the thing is, by executive order, guess what? The next time a Republican's in the White House, they all go away. So, because it was born by executive order, it can die by executive order. So, not to sound apathetic about Trump, because I'm not. I didn't vote for the guy. But out of the two candidates that are contesting the election, I would rather see Trump in office than Biden. But, all that said, if everything goes the way I described, I don't think that a Biden presidency would get much done that I don't like. So I could suck it up and live with it for 4 years. So that's my opinion on the 2020 election and all this. But basically, people need to get their heads in the news outside of what they typically listen to, because there's a lot of stuff going on that isn't being reported all over. You've got to dig for it to find it, and there's a lot going on. And the thing is, like, both sides are guilty of it. Like, there's articles that my buddy was posting yesterday that is left-leaning that I hadn't heard of or read or talked about or this or that. Okay, that's fine. But I could do the exact same thing back to him, and he'd be sitting there going, huh. So both people need to stay informed from multiple sources, but it's just irritating when you quote it as gospel when there's a countervailing point of view and countervailing evidence to your point of view. That's what I got. Stay informed, folks. If you're going to pick a hill to die on, make sure you've got plenty of ammo. I'm speaking in a debate sense, of course, but stay informed. That's the best advice I got for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch y'all next time. Stay safe.